Welcome back to Axis Anime. My name is Henshin Ikeda, and today I'll be doing a walkthrough review of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, episode 25. Now, if you remember from last episode, we find out JoJo has the Redstone of Asia, and it gets better. JoJo runs right off of a cliff, and we assume he's gonna die, or maybe he has a plan that we don't know of, and he does. He ends up in an airplane in midair, and he is saved, but we don't get to see how he ends up in the airplane, just that, bam, he's in the airplane magically, and we don't understand who set this plane up to begin with. I know that was the build-up, like, who was flying this plane for him to get into to begin with? We really don't know. All we know is that JoJo has the Redstone of Asia, and he's flying away from Cars. And guess what? Cars, he grows a set of wings. Yeah, now he has, like, these bird-like wings that come out of nowhere, and he is flying after JoJo. Now, he doesn't catch up with JoJo, but we find out Strohem is also on the airplane with JoJo. So maybe that's how the airplane, got set up. That's my theory. I think Strohem set this up for JoJo. However, JoJo was unaware of it, or maybe if he was, we just don't get to see that. But sorry, I digress. We do see JoJo and Strohem flying away from Cars, and apparently JoJo has a plan. JoJo wants to fly to a volcano, which is on a small island in the middle of nowhere, and to lure Cars into it so the lava will eat Cars up in general, because he figures lava is probably the only thing on Earth that could take out Cars, and it's a good assumption, at least for now. Now, the end result being toward the end of the episode, we see JoJo as well as Strohem flying toward the volcano, and Cars does bite the trap, per se. He bites the bullet, he goes after JoJo and Strohem. Strohem kind of makes up a good defense, in my opinion, since he's a cyborg, but to no avail, the plane does crash. But Cars does end up in the lava, so Cars ends up in the lava and he's burning alive. So it's definitely epic. Now, is JoJo and Strohem still alive? I guess we'll find out. And again, that's where the episode ends, and I'll hold my final thought and rating at the end of the clip, so stay tuned. But let's dive right on in. So we open up this episode with Cars. I know, Cars, he is sinking into the lava. He's burning up alive, and guess what? He is covered in a shell. So Cars' body is in like a shell-type form, and it's protecting him for now from the lava. But guess what? It's not working. The lava is eating right up through that shell. And it's definitely epic in my opinion, because I thought, is this the end of Cars? Well, Strohem and JoJo, they are still alive. That was the big surprise. Yes, Strohem. Of course, Strohem's going to be alive. He's half cyborg, because remember, there's half of him, and he's a cyborg. So Strohem, he's still alive, and so is JoJo. Okay, I was like, okay, this is great. And they're watching Cars burn alive. So they've got front row tickets to see Cars burning alive. Like, okay, this is great. And out of nowhere, JoJo and Strohem, they turn their backs after they see Cars kind of die down, and they walk away. Okay, fans, you don't walk away from something like that. You wait 10 minutes, you wait 30 minutes, 30 seconds, if that, maybe 15 seconds, and you walk away, and you assume the bad guy, who is practically a god, will die? No. You have to assume that he's probably still alive, or I don't know, you might want to wait a little bit to find out if he's really dead or not. Maybe pick up a souvenir or something. But no, JoJo and Strohem, they turn around, they walk away, and they assume Cars is dead. Wrong. So we're taken to a little cutscene with JoJo, and he is attacked by Cars. So JoJo is attacked by Cars. And then JoJo's arm is now gone? Really? So JoJo no longer has an arm. He only has one arm now. Yes, and JoJo, he is bleeding out. You heard me, fans. JoJo is now bleeding to death. I'm like, wow. This is the main character of this new... No, this is the new JoJo, of course. He is bleeding out. I don't know if his grandfather would have been bleeding out the same way, but this is, JoJo. He's bleeding out. He doesn't have a plan, and it's very sad, in my opinion. But again, definitely worth watching. Now, Strohem, he knows how Cars has survived the lava. This is Strohem. I know he always has a great assumption on how things work, and, he always has the best comebacks, like, okay, this is how that worked. I'm like, Strohem, you know how Cars has survived the volcano. Okay, tell me. I'm curious, because you know what? I have no fucking idea. So apparently Cars shielded his body with a shell, that of a crab. That I didn't know. I just noticed that Cars had like a shell structure on his body, but that of a crab? Okay, interesting. However, the shell, it couldn't take the heat of the lava, so it failed. So the first attempt that Cars tried to have using the shell kind of failed, but apparently Cars had another shell set in place, and it was formed by bubbles. Wow, so that's how Cars survived. Now, at this point in time, we know nothing about Cars other than he's just another random villain that's like a god right now. So yes, there is a little bit of information that is shared about Cars. So what do we know about Cars right now? So again, a little bit of information that's being thrown right at us. Apparently Cars slaughtered his own race back like 10,000 years ago. So Cars slaughtered his own race because he wanted more power. He also killed his own parents. Wow, just for his journey for the ultimate power? God, this guy really is the ultimate SOB for this anime series. So that information we did not know, but now we do know. But do we really care? No, it's a little too late for that. This is the last goddamn episode, so a little late there. We could have used this maybe 3 episodes ago, not now. Now we are taking to a little cutscene with JoJo, and he attacks Cars, big freaking whoop whoop. Yeah, with his overdrive, by the way. So if this is JoJo, he attacks Cars with his overdrive. We were expecting something, because this is like his last actual attack he can do, and his overdrive fails miserably. I'm like, yeah, fucking figures. And Cars, he can use ripple energy now. So Cars can now use the same energy that JoJo has been using. I'm like, oh god damn it, JoJo, you're fucked. What are you fucking going to do? JoJo, his leg is now burning because of Cars attacking him with ripple. So JoJo, not only does he only have one arm left, now his leg is burning. I'm like, JoJo, you are fucked. And guess what, JoJo? He is now ready to die. JoJo has made his peace with everything, and JoJo is ready to die. He's like, okay, yeah, I'm done. So we're taking to another little cutscene with JoJo, and he uses the Red Stone of Asia to block Cars. And Cars' attack has been reflected, ironically, right? Because I thought, wait a minute, I thought JoJo was ready to die. No, it was a ruse, because apparently well, I shouldn't say it was a ruse, because he didn't know he was going to do this. This is JoJo. He automatically uses the Red Stone of Asia on Cars once Cars tries to attack JoJo. It's like a reflex. So this was a reflex, and it just reflects, the attack that, well, Cars had. I'm like, so JoJo didn't even know he was going to do this. This was just a reflex. I'm like, oh, that's one hell of a fucking reflex. Perfect timing, right? Now, apparently a chunk of the bedrock, if this makes any sense, so a chunk of the island that JoJo and Cars are on is launched into the sky. So both JoJo and Cars are the only one on this little piece of rock that's launching into the sky. Now Strohem is not on the rock, so he's just like off in the distance, he's watching this. So we see Cars, and he tries to fly away, but guess what, JoJo? He stops Cars with his severed hand. Are you fucking kidding me? He uses his severed hand to stop Cars from leaving this little piece of rock that's flying in midair that's heading for outer space. I shit you not, I was impressed. I'm like, JoJo, I didn't know you had this in you. You use your own fucking severed hand to stop Cars? Fucking A, man. That's badass. Now Cars and JoJo are now entering outer space. So Cars and JoJo, they're entering outer space. And I'm like, okay, let's see what's going to happen. Because I know JoJo, he can't breathe in outer space. Well, Cars, he kind of can because he's like a god per se. Now, while all this shit's going down, Strohem, he's watching everything from the distance. And he's not doing anything because I don't think he can. It's like, okay, I'll bite. So we see this piece of rock entering orbit with JoJo and Cars. And that's it. We don't know what the hell is happening. Are they dead? Are they alive? All we know is 8 hours later, Strohem, he contacts Speedwagon, and he updates Speedwagon on everything. And the assumption is Cars and JoJo are now dead. That's the assumption. Are they really? I'm not going to tell you yet. I'm going to, I'm stringing you along here. Just wait for it. But anyways, 8 hours did pass, and the assumption is, well, Cars and JoJo, you're dead. Now we are taken to a little cutscene with Cars, and Cars is being seen freezing. So Cars is in outer space with JoJo, and he is freezing to death, although he doesn't die. So Cars, because of all the oxygen that's leaving his body, it ends up freezing him. Because of all that raw oxygen that's coming out of his body, he figures, if I use the oxygen that's inside of my body to push back to Earth, I'll be great. I'll burn up in the atmosphere, but you know what? I can still reform myself, and you know what? I'll be good. JoJo, you're not going to make it. Somehow, JoJo is no longer on this piece of rock. He's now off of it. I guess he came back into the atmosphere, so we don't know what happened to JoJo, but Cars is now frozen. Now, he's not dead. He's like in a statue-like form, but the last words that we know about Cars is that he's going to be in outer space for God knows how long, but he's still alive, but he's frozen. And that's the end of Cars. That's all we know what happened to Cars. JoJo? We have no idea what happened. Now, that's all we know about that little scenario of what occurred in outer space. Now we're taken to New York. It's April 1939. What? So there's no, like, what happened to JoJo? Guess what? It's JoJo's funeral. That's right. We're in New York. It's April 1939, and it's JoJo's funeral. Everyone's sad. You know, like, figures, right? Okay, JoJo? They assume he's dead. Guess what? JoJo appears out of nowhere at his own funeral. Talk about, perfect timing, right? And he's got a new arm. Do you remember the technology that helped Stroheim survive? Like, it made him into a cyborg? Somehow that technology helped create JoJo's new arm. So JoJo has his arm back, and he's up to good health, and guess what? Susie Q is his new wife. Like, huh? So wait a minute. Not only does he show up at his own funeral with a brand new arm, but a wife, and it's Susie Q? Wait, what? So apparently after JoJo got back to Earth, Susie Q found him. He's in Venice. 2 weeks pass, and she helps JoJo survive, get his health back, and they end up marrying each other? What? Where was I during this 2 weeks of, nursing and whatnot? Everyone is like, what the fuck? But you know what? They're happy he's alive and he's married. But guess what? Susie Q never told anyone that he was alive, so we get to see JoJo going after Susie Q, like little spouse. I don't know how to describe, they're arguing. It's hilarious in my opinion. However, moving on past that to the main stuff we want to know about this episode, guess what? Lisa does tell JoJo that she's his mother, so we got that set aside, but we don't get to really see that scene. Just we're told that Lisa tells JoJo that yes, Lisa is JoJo's mother, and that was it. And apparently Lisa remarries some random guy that's in Hollywood, and this random guy is a Hollywood screenwriter. We don't even know what the hell his name is, just that she remarried. And JoJo was cool with it, I guess. That's all we really know. And we find out Irina, which is JoJo's grandmother, she is now a teacher. She teaches at an elementary school. And apparently in 1950, she passes away at 81. She happily passes away. I don't know how you can happily pass away, but again, JoJo's grandmother passes away at 81 in 1950. That was kind of sad. Now, as for Speedwagon, we find out he dies in 1952 at 89. So he is the longest living one of the main characters within this anime series. He dies at 89 in 1952, which was kind of ironic because he's still a bachelor. I thought he might want to marry Irina, but no, it doesn't end up happening. So Speedwagon, he's dead now. I'm like, holy shit, how many characters are you gonna fucking kill off? Like, Jesus, literally. Now we find out Smokey. He went to college for political science, a big frickin' whoop. He was a side character. No one fucking cares. But guess what? He becomes the first black mayor in Georgia. Okay, do we really care? He's a side character. No. That's all we get to know about him. That's it. Like, big frickin' whoop. Now, Stroheim and JoJo, they never get to see each other again, which was kind of sad. I thought they might. Now, speaking of Stroheim, in 1943, he ends up dying. Apparently, he fell in Stalingrad. Now, Stalingrad was an amazing war between the Germans and the Russians. They came out with an amazing live-action movie called Enemy at the Gates. Definitely watch it if you get a chance. But again, Stalingrad. This is Stroheim. He dies in Stalingrad. Or should I say he falls. We don't know if he's dead or not, just that he fell. He's not dead. We don't know if he's dead or not. The assumption is it says he fell. So, Stroheim. We don't know if you're alive or not, but you fell in Stalingrad. Okay. And it was 1943. Now, moving on past that toward the end of the episode, guess what? We see the new JoJo. Well, the same JoJo, of course, but this is 1987. So this is like the grandpa version of the JoJo, the last JoJo we saw, and he looks different. This is the new version of him. We get to see of him being older now. So we see JoJo, it's 1987, and he's at the JFK airport. So this is like the eastern part of the U.S., so this is hitting home for some of us anime reviewers out there, because I definitely am familiar with the JFK airport. So it's 1987, we're at the JFK airport. Apparently JoJo is waiting for someone. We don't know who. We can assume it's his grandson. That's right, JoJo. He has a daughter who married a Japanese guy, which we don't know the name of course. We don't know the name of his daughter or his son-in-law, but apparently JoJo doesn't like his son-in-law, and because of that, he doesn't like the Japanese, and he's saying nothing right now. He's just waiting for someone. He runs into a kid who is Japanese, of course. At first, he apologizes for, running into the kid. He helps the kid up. He's like, wait a minute, you're Japanese. And he beats the crap out of this Japanese kid. I'm like, wait a minute. So apparently, JoJo has a grandson, and we don't know if this kid is his grandson or not, but he beats the crap out of him. He's like, he takes it out because he doesn't approve of his daughter marrying a Japanese guy. And that's where the episode ends. As for final thoughts, well, first of all, that kid that JoJo beats up at the end of the episode, is that his grandson? Probably. I don't know. It would have been funny, right? Moving on past that, Cars. You're not dead. You're frozen, but the assumption or the theory that I'm going to throw at you guys, I think he probably burned up in some random planet's atmosphere or probably got sucked into a black hole or something like that, because there's no way you can just float around in outer space without getting pulled in some random planet's atmosphere. So guess what, Cars, in my opinion, you're dead already. Come on. That's my opinion. Or some random asteroid, comet probably hit you, something like that. There's no way you're still alive. No, sorry. Moving on past that, JoJo, you're a grandpa now. Are you going to have another season? Are you going to show us something else? Does your grandson have the ripple energy? Probably. We don't really know. But you know what? I can't wait to see if there's going to be another season or not of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Can't wait to find out. But that ends it. That ends it right there for my final thoughts. As per my rating, okay, this episode, I'm going to give this a 3.5 out of 5 because I really wasn't moved by it. I know there was a lot of information. Great, more information. But was there any fighting? No. Was there any romance or drama? Romance? No. Drama, yes, between JoJo and his wife, Susie Q, but that was about it. And him showing up at his own funeral. That was it. So why am I giving this a 3.5 out of 5? Because it was a letdown. Yeah, it was great. All that information was good, but again, big letdown. So final rating, 3.5 out of 5. Now for the entire anime series, 4.5 out of 5. It was a great anime series. So for this episode, 3.5 out of 5. But for this anime series in general, 4.5 out of 5. And that ends it for my final thoughts. And that ends it for my walkthrough and review of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure episode 25. But definitely comment down below. Let me know. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Definitely subscribe. Check me out on Twitter and follow me if you like. But let me know what you thought of this episode. And let me know what you think's going to happen probably in the next season if there's going to be one. If not, just let me know what you thought of this episode in general. And that ends it for my walkthrough and review. That ends it for now, guys. I gotta go. I gotta hit the bricks, and I gotta go. And before I go, I gotta say it, and I always say it. You can't stop the access, but you can watch the feed. I'll see you later, guys.